that was a little snippet of the new TikTok trend out there. I think it's mostly for people who have anxiety, of course, and people are making it an art form and stuff like that, and I kind of have a problem with it. So, stay tuned and I'll tell you why. Good morning, everyone, my renegades. Welcome back to Rogue Radio. My name is Sarah Jane, and today is going to be a rant, just a little one. I'm not going to be too angry about it just because people don't really understand what they're doing and all of that stuff. So, I'm a big TikTok person. I like playing around on TikTok. I used to be on Vine a very long time ago when it was a thing, and I wasn't famous or anything. I only had like 100 followers. But to me, that was a big deal, I guess. I still don't have a lot of followers, and that's okay. I don't care. But I see a lot of different trends going on TikTok, and one kind of disturbed me. I already showed you guys the recording of the I Get Overwhelmed. I don't know who sings that, who made that song, who the artist is or whatever, but I've seen this a lot on YouTube, on social media and everything, and people like to glorify their anxiety, and I want to tell you guys why that's wrong. Now, if you guys have anxiety, I used to have anxiety. Like I said, I recovered. I know that is sometimes not a very believable concept for certain people, but it actually does happen. A lot of therapists and a lot of people don't necessarily talk about it. Oh, you'll always have depression. Oh, you'll always have anxiety, but you can manage it. No, you can recover from it. And that's something that I kind of want to talk about today. Anxiety and mental illness is something that I'm very passionate about, and I just want to be able to express why I believe recovery is possible and why I believe that anxiety and all of this other stuff is not worth being glorified over. So, like I said, I've seen this in many different places other than TikTok. I've seen Gabby Hanna on YouTube talk about her mental illnesses, and when I talk about this, I'm not going to say, like, you shouldn't talk about what you've gone through. Of course, you can share your testimony and talk about what you've gone through, but don't play the victim. You know what I mean? There are people who have mental illnesses that function normally like normal people. I guess you could call them high-functioning mental illness, but I don't necessarily believe that. I believe that if they've conquered something, they've recovered from it. And if they're still battling it, then they're victors, you know? The one thing that I don't like, okay, is that, for one, YouTubers lie a lot. We all know this. That is not something that is new to people. And that's one thing that I really don't like, is that when scandal passes by a YouTuber, the first thing that they think of is, oh, I have a mental illness, so it's okay for me to be a jerk. No, it's not. We see Lele Pons, making her own documentary about her having Tourette's. I'm not saying, again, that they don't have these things, but it's kind of hard to believe somebody that has deleted their best friend's pictures from Instagram, or has been in the spotlight of scandal and everything. Do I believe that certain things with celebrities and famous people, especially on YouTube, when they do have mental illness, it can be misinterpreted? Hell yeah. But the thing that I have a problem with is that they're victimizing themselves so they can get the sympathy of their followers and their subscribers. And that's something that I hate. That's something that I don't like. And even when I was a kid, I didn't even realize I did this. Even when I was younger, I would just start crying and be the baby, basically, whenever I ended up having anxiety and stuff. And my family never, I would say they tried to understand what I was going through, but I would also say that they got frustrated with me as well, so they didn't understand. But I know that I victimized myself at times. And then there was just a time where I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to do anything. The only thing that I did was go to school. And that was it. I didn't socialize or anything. I isolated myself. And, you know, my struggle isn't everybody's struggle. I'm not going to sit here and say, you should struggle the way I am in order to actually be, you know, a victor or actually mentally ill. No, no. Everybody has their own struggles. Everybody has their own path that they go through. I feel like social media has been glorifying mental illness and anxiety for the gain of people that decide to label themselves as this in order to get sympathy and more money from their subscribers and followers. I've seen hoodies with the definition of anxiety on it, and I'm like, no, that's not okay. Because you know what you're doing. You know what these people are doing, right? They're giving the anxiety a throne to sit on. When you glorify something negative and you use that as your PR, you are putting it on a throne. You are giving it authority in your life. That's something that I had to learn in my life, that every time I had a panic attack, every time that I did not react, every time I reacted in an anxious way, in a negative way, I was giving that anxiety a throne to sit on. Mental illness is a bitch. I'm going to say, people say life is a bitch. No, mental illness is a bitch. And I'll tell you this. I'll tell you why. Because mental illness is something where the mind attacks your heart. I don't even like talking about it, but I was diagnosed a long time ago with a mental illness. And I thought I had to be perfect. I talked about this in my testimony. If you guys want to go back and listen to that, you are free to. But I talk about how I felt like I needed to be perfect for the people around me, to feel a certain way, to cater to the people around me. I was told that if I talk about my mental illness, then, you know, people are going to be ashamed, that I am putting shame on myself. I didn't know that at the time. And I feel like people need to be talking about what they're going through. But there is a line that you do not cross, and that is when your anxiety has become your buddy and has become your scapegoat, saying that if you end up doing something purposefully, like, you know, end up in a scandal on YouTube, you know, we're talking about people who glorify this on YouTube. So somebody says, oh, well, I'm mentally ill, so you shouldn't be attacking me on Twitter. No. Listen, people, even if you do have a mental illness, this is something that people have to understand. life is not going to be nice to you all the time. You're going to have to learn how to cope with not saying that all the time. Like, oh, I'm mentally ill, so pity me, or sympathize with me, make me feel better, or, I'm the baby. No. That's not what we're made for. Rogue Radio will be right back after this message. You want to know how I make some unique podcasts? If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. For one, it's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, and they're easy to use. Anchor will distribute your podcast for free so that it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It is everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download your free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It's really fun. Come and join the Renegade family, all right? Now, I could go all follower of Christ on you and say that this is a spirit that, clings to you and messes with your mind, which I believe, but not a lot of people will understand that. Not a lot of people will know what I'm talking about, and a lot of people might actually think that I'm crazy, and that's okay. But I believe that anxiety is a spirit. It's an evil spirit, just like there is a spirit of poverty, a spirit of the vagabond spirit, not having a place to call your own, the spirit of lust, greed, jealousy, anger, all of that stuff. I believe that everything that is negative has a spirit tied to it somehow. And I also believe that all of this stuff isn't just inherited by blood. There's a lot of, proof, I guess, out there that says anxiety is inherited by your parents or by your bloodline. Well, of course, that's also right, but it's also, it's inherited by their parenting as well. If you were born in an abusive, dysfunctional family, your brain is going to find a way to deal with that, and sometimes it's a negative response, like anxiety, depression, bipolar, all of this stuff. So it's not always inherited by the blood. It's also inherited by circumstances that this child or that this person has gone through. And I know I'm probably going to get a lot of people angry about this and why I'm talking about this, but that's okay. Be angry at it. Because I love talking about mental illness. I love talking about this because I know that I can help somebody with it. I've gone through this. I understand what's going on. And yeah, there is a spiritual side to it. And if you don't already know that the social media and the television and everything that is media, if you don't already know that they manipulate the minds of people, if you don't already know that, I don't know what to say. Because here we have people that we look to, we look at, we look up to, and they're saying that it's okay to act like this because they have a mental illness. No. And I'm not here to bash people who have this problem. I'm not saying that you should feel bad for the way that you're thinking or for the way that you're acting. No, I'm encouraging people who have done this, who have gone through this, who do have a mental illness and don't know how to handle it. There is a way to get out. I know a lot of the time being a victim is much more easier than actually doing something about it. I've been there. Like I said, part of it was being isolated, being sad all the time, crying all the time, being the victim all of the time. People don't necessarily know how to handle that stuff. And they don't understand where their mental illness came from, or why it happened to them, or what's wrong with them and all of this stuff. So what I'm saying is, when the social media decides to glorify mental illness, mentally ill people who are anxious, depressed, whatever, they find it okay to sit in that place that their mental illness has created for them. Because, oh, well, if this celebrity is mentally ill and acts this way, it must be okay for me to do that. Don't use celebrities or YouTubers as a example for any of that, because you're better than that. I'm not gonna say that it's gonna be easy for anybody who is listening that has anxiety or whatever you've been diagnosed with or cursed with. I'm not going to say that it's going to be easy, because it isn't. I dealt with mine a long time ago, and it took about maybe 28 years for me to be the way I am now, to where I'm actually able to carry on a job, to where I'm actually able to carry on a good conversation with people, and I'm able to sing in public because I'm not afraid anymore, or like go out in a dark room to like get myself a drink or something without turning on the light. Like, all of this fear that I was crippled with is gone now. I love it. I love this. And I want to encourage people out there that you can be just as courageous. You can recover as well. This isn't something that you have to be saddled with for the rest of your life. We are who we say we are. A man who thinketh in his heart, so is he, okay? Yes, I'm a Christian. I do talk about this a lot sometimes. But I don't want people who are struggling with their minds to believe that this is where they're supposed to be for the rest of their life. That's a lie. And don't let social media or any other person tell you that you're always going to be mentally ill, and that you're always going to be that, oh, poor you type of person that can't do anything or function normally, when you can. It's going to take a lot of work, of course, to relearn things and understand things, and try not to react to things the way that you do at this time. Whoever is going through this, I just want to say you can get out of it. It is okay. You're going to have to make yourself get up and get a job, start driving. You're going to have to fight through it. Mental illness, like getting rid of that, it's a fight. It's going to be an everyday fight until you find that hilltop to where you can see everything from a bird's eye view, and you can see everything that's coming at you. It's going to be okay. And don't look to social media saying that it's okay to be mentally ill, just as long as, you know, you glorify it and make sure that you have enough followers and people around you that will sympathize with you. I don't want people to sympathize with you. I want people to lift you up. Because the more people that sympathize with you, the more lazy people get. The more people that say, oh, poor you. Oh, she's okay. She's got a mental illness and all this other stuff. Don't worry about this person. They're mentally ill. They don't know what they're doing. If you have people that sympathize with you, they are being lazy. They are not helping you. they're not helping you progress. They are not helping you be the person that you need to be. Okay? I have been a recovery coach for about a year now. And I always ask this question. I've asked this question so many times. How are you feeling? How are you feeling? That's a big, important question. So that is something that I always ask them. And then they talk to me. And I tell them, like, listen, you can do so good for yourself. I do my best to encourage them and help them understand that this is just a bump in their road. This isn't where you're supposed to be staying. This is not where you're supposed to be vegging out and feeling comfortable, because let me tell you something. When you end up accepting that you have this mental illness for the rest of your life, you get comfortable. The more comfortable you get, the more lazy you get. The more lazy you get, the more sad you get. The more sad you get, what else is going to happen? What's it going to take for you? What's it going to take for you, listener, to understand that you're a badass? That you should not be looking to, social media for the glorification and saying, oh, well, it must be okay, I should just accept it. No, you don't have to accept it. Do you want to be this way? Do you want to always be mentally ill? Because I can tell you right now, all you really got to do is make yourself do what you want to do. And the only reason why I'm so passionate about it, because I've been on the other side. And here I am talking to you guys about it. Like, listen, mental illness is a cripple. And you are not crippled. I don't care if you were born with it or if you inherited it. I don't care. Yeah, plus ultra. Jeez, okay. I am saying that all those things that you think that you can't do, get yourself to do them. It is not going to be easy. For one, find yourself a good support system that is going to help you and encourage you into being the best you. Okay? Not somebody who can sympathize with you and say, oh, this person has a mental illness, being like, oh my God. Don't find people that sympathize with you or that pity you. I was told a very long time ago that if the body can get sick, so can the mind. Now that I hear that, now that I hear myself say that, I'm thinking, well, if the body can recover from a sickness, why can't the mind? I mean, why can't the body, if the body can heal itself by, if they have a cut or a sore, an open sore, and it ends up healing, why can't the mind heal itself? For one, I will say that it is very hard to do that. Because especially when someone who has had a traumatic childhood, it is very hard to get those memories out of their mind. It is very hard to get rid of trauma, especially when those traumatic events in their life are either still going or still going in their mind. And it is very hard because I've had traumatic things happen in my childhood as well, and it is not okay for any child to go through life like that, because then they do develop a mental illness, they do develop things like that, and your mind sometimes doesn't know what to do, and so it develop something in order to cope with it, and sometimes it's not okay. And it's nobody's fault. It's nobody's fault that they're depressed or anxious or have PTSD or have bipolar or borderline personality disorder. I mean, the list goes on. Okay? It's not your fault that you have that. Okay? Whatever circumstance, because I can't necessarily say that every mentally ill person out there, or every person that is dealing with mental illness, has gone through a traumatic childhood, or has been, has gone through some sort of trauma in their life. Is that a majority of them? Yes. But sometimes it just happens out of the blue, and it's weird, and it's wrong, and you have to kind of think and wonder where this all came from. Like I said, I feel like it comes from spirits, evil spirits. I also believe it comes from family dynamics and family dysfunction, and sometimes, trauma that is outside of the family, whether it be friends or your school or church or whatever. Mental illness doesn't always just show up, but it does show up in the bloodline as well, and that can be inherited as well. And it's also something that you can renounce too. It's something that you can say that I do not own this. That's not me. And I just want to tell people that, you don't have to be this person that is labeled mentally ill for the rest of your life. And I just want to encourage you that you can do this. You can go through life saying, I can do this. I can get a job. I can get off of welfare or food stamps and actually provide for myself. I can be this person that I want to be, because you don't want to sit on your deathbed knowing that you could have been better, or you could have done better. I don't want that for any of you. Go out and do what you want. Go out and do what you want to do and who you want to be. Whatever that looks like, as long as it's positive, as long as it's bringing positivity and love and light to you, hell yeah, do it. And I want to let everyone know that I'm praying for you. It doesn't really, if you don't believe in God, that's fine. I'm still praying for you, but I just want to let everyone know that it's going to be okay wherever you're at in this journey of life, especially in this time and day and age where it's pretty crazy outside. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. And if you have a thought, like an intrusive thought that you know is not yours, cast it down. Say, that's not me. I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to let this ruin my day. Take every thought captive. Okay? Take every thought captive. Don't be afraid of looking at that thought and being like, that's not me. That don't own me. It's going to take a long time. It's going to be a battle. But it is so worth it. It is so worth having a support system that is able to encourage you, okay? If you don't have one, get one, okay? Find the people that actually have your best interest in heart and be their friend. Be close to them. Be their best friend. Be that person that is next to them. And anybody who has friends or family that is struggling with depression or anxiety or whatever mental illness that they have, be the one to understand, because it's not gonna be easy to understand at first if you don't. But you can. And they need encouragement. They don't always need somebody to hold them. They also need to be encouraged and, have somebody to help them push them onto the right track and coach them on the sidelines, being like, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. I've had people in my life, even when I was depressed, like a long time ago, I don't have it anymore, but I've had people like that, and I shot them down because I thought that they did not care about me, which was weird because they did. They were encouraging me, but I didn't see it like that. I saw it like, oh, well, you just want me to do what you want me to do. No, it was because they didn't want to see me sad anymore. Also realize that the people that probably rub you the wrong way when it comes to encouraging you and, trying to get you to do something with your life, those are the people that you need in your life. Yeah, it may hurt a little to have somebody in your life that actually cares enough to tell you things that you need to hear instead of what you want to hear, but you need somebody like that in your life. You need somebody to tell you like it is. And you need somebody to encourage you and push you and to help you keep going. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't tell them, when your limit is. Okay, yeah, you can tell them about, your limit. But also, don't limit yourself too much. There are people out there that are limitless and they were diagnosed with mental illnesses. Like, it's astounding. And you can be one of those people too. Seriously. It is wonderful to see so many people who have gone through depression or something like that. And they're a singer or an actress or, something that they want to be. You can do that too. Don't sit there and look at the television or see something on social media and say, well, I wish I was like that. No, you can be like that. Don't limit yourself. And for those who have a mind that is so attacked and that has endured so much, your mind must be incredibly brilliant. Your mind, there's nothing wrong with your mind. No. For those people who don't want to be ill anymore, I'm saying your mind is wonderful. There's people out there that have, depression, and they make the most beautiful works of art I've ever seen. There's people who have bipolar out there that write and make the most beautiful stories I've ever read. There's people out there that have PTSD that are therapists. I mean, come on. That's amazing. And I just want to let you guys know that don't limit yourself. Don't be what you have been saddled with, because you can throw that saddle off. And you can walk your own path. Okay? You're not always what the doctor says that you are. You're not always what the therapist says you are. Who do you say you are? Are you successful? Are you creative? Are you incredible? Are you a badass? Yes. So start acting like it. No, it's not going to be easy. Of course, your mind is with you all the time and you think all the time. But that does not mean that you can't control your mind. You have a sound mind. You have a mind like nobody else. And yes, your mind has been through some shit. But also know that your mind is amazing and that it can recover. And so what are you going to do in order to make yourself better? That's all I've really got to say. And if you have any questions, if you want to talk to me, go ahead and leave a voice message on Anchor, on the Anchor app. You guys, I have a Instagram called rogue.radio, all lowercase. If you guys want to, talk to me there, leave a private message. I'm here. I'm a recovery coach. I'm here to talk to you. I'm here to listen. But anyway, guys, God bless. Keep going. Move forward. You're a badass. Goodbye.